So I drive a lot, and it gets me to thinking a lot. And I'm sure that there's a million people in this world that probably have lost a parent or a loved one to cancer. And I lost my dad at the age of 9 to what we didn't know then, but we know now, was AIDS. And it was kind of devastating. He had Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde for a little while, and it was really kind of difficult to understand as a child. And my mom did her very best. Sorry, I'm going to turn off the radio. Mom did her very best. I love my double chin. To try to make that work. She was a nurse, luckily, so, it was a little more understandable. She is a nurse. Oh, it's kind of weird. Anyways, so as I've gotten older, death was no stranger to me for about, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years. There was just like a funeral every quarter or something. It was just crazy. I remember there was a few years of my life that just funerals were all the time. So I've gotten off on tangent, sorry. But death is no stranger to me at this point. And I didn't never worry when my mom was diagnosed with cancer very recently. I think it was just 5 months ago. And I'm kind of a religious gal, if you know, and I have a lot of spiritual strength, and so this isn't one of the things that worried me, although I think it worried my siblings and the rest of my family. My mom and I were pretty cool with it. We've had a good relationship over the years. I've spent a lot of time with my mom in probably the last decade than most people my age would. And so I've been with my mom a lot. And so I feel good about the time that I've spent with my mom. And I'm sure you guys are all like, what are you trying to talk about and what you're going on about today? But I think this frequently while I'm driving. I live out in the country, so sometimes I spend a lot of time on these old, like back highways and farm towns, and oops, I don't know if you guys can see. But anyways, it's just, I spend a lot of time driving and I get to think. And so there have been several days where I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I don't understand this thing that some people are talking about, how they have to mourn their parents twice when they have cancer. And I've read a lot of blogs and talked to a lot of people that have lost kids to a cancer, or parents to a cancer, or anything, any fatal anything. But cancer in particular, I think there's kind of, especially in an older parent, I think there's younger people have a better chance of surviving cancer just because they're healthier usually. They don't have as many problems. My mom already had a few health challenges before she had cancer. So, but, and I think they do better with it. I think older people don't do as well. And I'm no stranger to people with chronic diseases or illnesses or any of that kind of stuff, because, I mean, my family has hemophilia, and my dad died of AIDS, so this isn't anything new. But what I was thinking as I was driving was, and I've thought this many times, like I said, that this second death thing, and it was like, it kind of hit me, and it was kind of a thing, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is exactly what people are talking about. Like, I get this. And I think everybody, as they get older, they come to the conclusion that, there's a point where, you become the parent, and the grandparents become the grandparents, and they need a little more assistance. And my mom, who's always been super independent, super self-sufficient and self-reliant, has always been like superwoman to me. Just started needing a little more help, and she's been so gracious through it. But the problem that I'm having emotionally is that the lady that sits there in that body now isn't my mom. If my family were to see this, I would be crucified. But since this is my vlog, I don't really care, and I really just need to get this out. My husband knows that I kind of feel this way, and he sees it too, even though he's only known my mom for about 8 years, intimately, very well. She's known her since high school, but he didn't know her very well until we got married. Anyways, and I'm going to start crying. So if you see mascara running, I'm turning, hold on. We got 65 to 55, you got to go fast. So anyways, the first death. And this is the hard thing that I've been struggling with the most, is that some people have good friends and best friends, and they have them for their life, and I do have some really good friends. I have friends that I've known since I was 5. I've had friends from birth that I still talk to. I have friends that I've known since middle school, high school, junior high school, all of that. College, I've known, and I love them, and they all call and check on me, and they're amazing. And I love my husband. He's really good to talk to, but my mom, like, it's hard because she knows everything about me. There's some things I don't even have to say to her. And it's always been so nice to be able to have my mom and be able to go to her when I need her, and go when she has problems. She's come to me even when I was really little, and we've always been really tight that way. And since she started doing her chemo, she's just not the same person anymore. And I start talking to her about my problems like we used to, and she just kind of checks out. And I know it's because she's struggling herself, and she doesn't want to hear anybody else's problems, and she's just trying to stay alive through a day. But it only took like 2 or 3 times to watch this happen between me and my mom, to where I just stopped talking to her. I just don't tell her anything anymore. I call her, I ask her how she's doing, I make sure that she's getting the things that she needs, and I go and help her when I can. But it's not my mom anymore that sits there. This is not her. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like this, and it's so hard. And I'm sure there's some support group somewhere that I could go cry to, but I find vlogging and talking to nobody by myself is a little more therapeutic. But I get it. I get it. When my mom's gone, I will be like when my dad was gone. He was in so much pain, I didn't care that he left. I wanted him to go because I wanted him to not feel pain anymore. I wanted him to go so bad because I knew he was in pain. I was only 9, but I knew, and I believe in God. And I know that he's in heaven. And I know that he's okay. But when my mom goes, I won't cry either. I won't cry either because she's already gone. She's already gone. And I get that. And it's just hard. But I know with my background that I need to just get it out. I need to just know that it'll be okay. And I need to let myself grieve and cry and feel the pain and work my way through it. But God, if there's anybody that understands this, I think sometimes I'm crazy, but I know I've heard other people talk about this, but it's like grieving somebody while they're still alive, it just feels really weird. But I know I didn't want to turn this into some religious thing, but I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful that I know I'll be with her again, and I'm grateful for the eternal families, and I'm grateful for Jesus' sacrifice and the love of God, that he loves me and that everything will be okay. And God, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have my faith to hold me up. I would be in such big trouble. But I guess that's all I needed to say for today. I feel much better. But
always thought that second death thing was just crazy. Or the first death, the second death. But I get it. I totally get it now. Okay, guys, so we'll talk again soon when I'm driving down a long country road and I have nobody to talk to. Talk soon. Bye.